Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here today. My name is Sarah. I am the admission counselor at Rice University, assigned to everything kind of in the Pacific Northwest and Fremont and San Francisco, kind of moving northward to Washington. I am your point person for any and all things regarding admissions, applications. I can also answer questions about student life or academics or direct you to the right people for that. I recently graduated from Rice. I'm 4 months out, so I'm a very, very recent alumni. And while I was at Rice, I studied psychology and engineering design. So I've kind of gotten experience in both social sciences and humanities, as well as engineering and STEM. So I'm happy to answer any questions about those. I'm also originally from the Bay Area. I am from Saratoga, California, so kind of San Jose, South Bay area. I also made the transition from California to Texas, so I'm happy to talk about that as well. So today, I want to answer your questions. I want to get to know you a little bit and hopefully help you navigate the kind of wacky world of college admissions, especially with Rice University. So just for this presentation, I'm going to go over about 5 key topics about Rice, and then the rest of the time we'll leave for any Q&A and questions that you might have for me. And the topics that we're going to go over today are academics and research and faculty. That's 1, not 3. Residential colleges and student life. Houston and the many opportunities surrounding campus, financial aid and affordability, and also outcomes. So if you're just joining us, if you haven't already, please do get this QR code that is on the screen. That will kind of show me that you've checked into the session and that we know we can keep following up with you afterwards in case we have any opportunities to engage with Rice a bit further. We're not tracking attendance here as a way to like add or subtract from your application process. So don't worry about it for that. This is just more for your benefit in getting the most up-to-date information on what we in the Office of Admission are doing. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then I'll put this up at the end as well. So to start, what if selecting a major meant not having to choose just one? So I mentioned my background in psychology and engineering design. I was very lucky to be able to be at a school where I had multiple interests and they allowed me to pursue both of them. Rice is made up of 7 undergraduate schools of study: architecture, business, engineering, humanities, music, natural sciences, and social sciences. And students can have up to 3 majors between these schools. So you're not necessarily bound to whatever school your primary major is a part of. You can major in engineering and business. I've had friends who are sport management and history. So virtually any combination you can think of, Rice will fully support you in exploring those. We also offer a lot of pre-professional advising tracks that can be paired with almost any major. So if you're interested in going to medical school, to law school, to business school, all of these tracks we have separate advising for, and you can be any major and put those tracks on top of it. So you don't have to be a biochemistry major to go into medical school. I've had friends who are English majors or history majors, and that kind of exploration and uniqueness help them actually stand out in the medical school admission process. When you apply to Rice, you are going to name one of these schools of study that interests you the most, but you're not applying for admission to that school of study itself. You're applying to Rice as a whole, and we understand that students can oftentimes do come to Rice, take a class that they didn't expect and completely fall in love with it and just change their major entirely and their path entirely. The Shepherd School of Music is consistently ranked among the top 5 in the nation, and we're also home to the #1 programs for architecture, kinesiology and physical therapy, and sports management. And we also have a system of flexible distribution requirements. So instead of prescribing certain classes that you have to take in order to graduate, instead we have 3 areas: the humanities, the social sciences, and STEM. And you have to take 3 classes in each of those areas just at any point throughout your time at Rice in order to fulfill that graduation requirement. So if you're not sure of what it is you want to pursue academically, you have a lot of opportunities to try out different classes at the beginning of your time at Rice, and those aren't wasting credits, quote unquote. You're actually contributing to your graduation requirements with that kind of exploration. In case you're not catching, exploration is kind of the name of the game at Rice, especially in academics. And Actually, another way that you can explore different academic areas is through our research programs. So we have over 45 research centers and institutes on campus where students can get involved with hands-on learning in any area of academic study from as early as freshman year. I personally didn't come in with any research experience or knowledge of what it meant to do research, but I was able to get the opportunity to work with professors in the political science department and the psychology department to do pretty groundbreaking research with them. And I'm happy to talk about that more if you have any questions later on. But more than half of our students participate in research during their academic career. And we also have the James A. Baker Institute for Public Policy on campus, which is a nonpartisan think tank that offers coursework and internships and lectures and allows students to participate in engaging conversations, and they host events with a lot of thought leaders in the country, and they host conferences and symposiums that students can attend free of charge. Our faculty are not only accessible, they're also encouraging and accomplished, and as you can see here, completely world-renowned. I'll give a special shout out to Caleb McDaniel, Dr. Caleb McDaniel, who recently won a Pulitzer. And he actually was the magister for my residential college, so kind of our dorm parent. And so he and his family lived close to our dorm. He was writing this book while I was a student there. And he actually consulted a number of students from my residential college for this book who now have their names immortalized in this Pulitzer winning book. So just to give you an idea of how closely intertwined our lives are with the studies and projects of our professors, you can see that through all of the kind of things they're doing with student life in addition to the academic obligations that they have. We have really small classes and we focus on a lot on undergraduate teaching, and students have unparalleled access to faculty members. So we have a student to faculty ratio of just 6 to 1. And we have a small class size. We have roughly 19 is the average class size at Rice, and even the larger classes that you'll attend typically earlier in your Rice career that are lecture classes don't exceed more than 150 students at a time. So you will have the opportunity to get to know your professors very closely, and they're more than willing to help you either through office hours or just grabbing coffee on the side. That's happened a lot, and a lot of students really value the relationships they've been able to create with professors here. All right, moving away from academics for a little bit. Rice is actually ranked #1 for best quality of life by the Princeton Review, and our residential colleges are actually the core of the student life experience here. So I've mentioned that my residential college was a big part of my Rice experience. Within each residential college, there is a diversity of thought, of interests, of major. So it's like the Harry Potter houses of Hogwarts, but we're not sorting you into these colleges based on any kind of aspect of your identity. Rather, we're trying to make each of these colleges a microcosm of Rice itself, so that you get the opportunity to more intimately explore relationships and conversations with people you might not meet in your major classes, you might not meet in your extracurriculars, you might not meet just kind of in everyday conversation. And each college is also largely run by students. They have their own budget and their own student government, and students are kind of overseeing all of the activities, the resources, the get-togethers throughout your time at Rice. So if you're interested in participating in that, that's a really great way to get involved in your community. And your college will be the source of social events from parties to intramural sports. And it also offers academic enrichment for lectures and special courses that are actually designed by your fellow students. So if you're very deeply interested in a topic and you want to share that with others, there are actually opportunities for you to teach a course through your residential college. Each college also has a team of diversity facilitators. They're dedicated to promoting campus unity and respect for diversity. And finally, the faculty and staff members who serve as the college magisters and as resident associates will guide your personal and intellectual development. So like I mentioned, Dr. Caleb McDaniel from before, they will engage a lot with students and support them in all of their academic endeavors. And I mentioned the Princeton Review has ranked Rice among the top universities in the nation in multiple areas, including happiest students, quality of life. And also we received the #1 ranking for lots of race and class interaction. That's something we're really proud of. So Rice is home to more than 280 student clubs, covering all interests from academic to volunteer to cultural identity clubs. And we also have a study abroad office that has programs in over 150 countries. Oh, sorry, in over 60 countries, 150 programs over 60 countries and on all 7 continents. So including Antarctica, in case you're interested in that. We also have a NCAA Division I athletic program, and we compete within Conference USA with a couple of other schools here in the South. We also try to just cultivate community as much as we can everywhere, and this manifests in a lot of different ways. So through academic support, your advising network will include professionals, faculty, staff, alumni, even fellow students. So students can step up to these roles where they're helping other students, and all of them are eager to help you navigate a successful path to kind of achieve whatever goals you have set for your academic path. We have an Office of Multicultural Affairs, which is dedicated to ensuring that all students are able to succeed in an environment where they feel safe and comfortable and accepted. And this office hosts a lot of cultural events throughout the year that are open to students across campus. For example, in this picture up here, you can see Africaye, which is run through our Rice African Students Association. And just throughout the year, these showcases will include music and dance and food that are unique to the cultures they're representing, and students can kind of explore and celebrate there. And those are some of my personal favorite events to attend at Rice. Yeah, and from the day that you become a Rice student, Student Success Initiatives, or SSI, is there to help you transition to college life. So this office oversees things like our orientation week, as well as support for first-generation and low-income families. And finally, the Wellbeing and Counseling Center supports student development and success, and they provide a great first point of contact for students who want to talk to someone about solutions for well-being and mental health concerns, or just any temporary difficulties that they might be facing during their time in college. And also, student-run businesses are actually one of my personal favorite things to talk about at Rice. I personally didn't come in with any idea of what it meant to be an entrepreneur or to engage in entrepreneurial activities, but I really liked boba tea, and I was excited for the opportunities to explore that in Houston, which is actually the boba capital of the South. And East West Tea is our on-campus student-run boba store. And the moment I saw that we had one of those, I sent in my application. They hired me. I started working there as a freshman. And my senior year, I got to become one of the managers of the business, and we got to make decisions regarding COVID and safety precautions and making sure that we were still providing services to the student body. And the fact that Rice provides opportunities for students to take leadership positions like this and to really decide for themselves what their path looks like and also impact members of the community, I think is a really cool and unique aspect of Rice. And finally, Rice is located just a couple miles from downtown Houston. And Houston is actually the 4th largest and most diverse city in the country. So I actually didn't know that before moving from California to Houston, but I actually have really enjoyed getting to explore the cultural diversity. The food that is here is phenomenal. We have over 200 cultural, performing, and visual arts organizations. And we also have the 2nd largest theater district in the entire country. We're also home to the NASA's Johnson Space Center. And if you're not familiar with John F. Kennedy's moonshot speech, that was the one where he said, "We go to the moon not because it is easy, but because it is hard." That was actually delivered at Rice Stadium in 1962. So Rice has really close ties and is very integrated with the city of Houston, and there are a lot of opportunities for students to engage in community service or experiential learning. One of the biggest draws of being in Houston is that we are literally right across the street. I'm not exaggerating here, literally one street away is the Texas Medical Center, and that is the largest medical center in the world. So a lot of students who are interested in medical paths or pre-health will get the opportunity to shadow and research and volunteer in the hospital and get that hands-on experience. And in addition to that, students who aren't necessarily interested in going into medicine, but have interests in things like socioeconomic disparities and how different aspects of someone's identity can affect their healthcare, and looking into policies surrounding healthcare, they can also get that kind of hands-on experience by working with professionals in the Texas Medical Center. Yes, lots of opportunities. So about 2 years ago, Rice actually launched the Rice Investment, which is an initiative that makes Rice the best choice for more low and middle income families across the country. We work with a coalition of universities in general to make sure that higher ed is as accessible as possible. Students who qualify for this aid will no longer be required to take out loans as a part of the need-based financial aid packages. So you can see here kind of the aid that you should expect to receive if your family income falls within one of these brackets. In addition to this, Rice meets 100% of demonstrated need for financial aid. For undergrad admitted students, that includes international students through financial aid. So regardless of whether they qualify for the Rice Investment, if you're admitted, Rice will help your family meet the gap between what your family can contribute and the tuition cost of that year. All admitted students are also considered for merit scholarships, which you don't have to submit additional materials for. They distinguish themselves scholastically and personally, even within our highly selective group of admitted students. So about 20% of admitted students will receive a merit-based scholarship, and that will come with your admission decision. And finally, we obviously want our students to have a great time while they're at Rice, but we also want to prepare them for life after graduation. So our students receive great preparation for futures through academics and experiential learning opportunities. And actually, our medical school and law school acceptance rates always hover around 90%. So our students are going on to do really, really great things. The Center for Career Development helps connect students with different opportunities to pursue the careers that they're interested in from the first day that they step on campus. They also provide services like interview practice, resume reviewing. They will take professional headshots for you if you need a LinkedIn profile photo. You can sign up for that through them as well. So in general, the entire Rice community is very committed to making sure that students have all the resources they need to be successful during and beyond their time at Rice. So that was just a quick overview of Rice University and the things that we have to offer. I can now open the floor to any questions about student life, about academics, about transitioning from the Bay Area to Houston, or any questions that you may have about applications and admissions.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Sarah about Rice? Feel free to ask. Anybody? Any questions? Now's your time. Any questions? You guys have any questions? Let's see. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I can, so I have a couple of links that I typically send in the chat, but is it okay if I just email you or Maddie after this with kind of some resources in case students want to learn more about Rice?
Yeah, that works great, yeah.
All right. In that case, that is all that I have. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any more questions just throughout this entire process, and good luck.
All right, thank you so much for coming, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome.
Have a good one. Bye.